Welcome to Out There. I'm Papa Joey Stay.
And I'm Uncle Tim Rice.
In this series, we explore the unexplained
and the paranormal.
While I'm somewhat of a skeptic,
I'm a full-on believer.
Together, we take a deep dive into all things that could be considered out there.
We discuss everything paranormal, from ghosts and UFOs to cryptids and more.
Join us as we unravel the mysteries behind the stories
and decide for ourselves
if there is something more out there.
The Superstition Mountains. This infamous mountain range located in the Sonoran Desert of Arizona is steeped in legends and mysteries that have captivated explorers, treasure hunters, paranormal investigators, and locals for generations. The legends of the Lost Dutchman's gold mine and the Apache curse, along with sightings of UFOs, even skinwalkers, and the disappearances of many explorers and hikers also add to the aura and mystery of the Superstition Mountains. Join us for our next lunchtime on Out There with Papa Joey and Uncle Tim, with special guest host Christopher Moole from Ghost Squad Scotland, as they recount just a few of the many stories and mysteries surrounding these legendary mountains.
Hello.
Hello, everyone.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. How are you doing, Joey?
I'm doing really good.
Just how's everyone doing out there? Hey, let's see here. Hi, Denise. Hi, Susie. Hi, Sherry. Jenny.
Comments up.
How's everyone doing?
Yeah. So we're hoping Chris will be joining us here very soon. I think he may be falling into the trap I fell into on his show last Saturday.
Yeah, I think he missed the time change.
Yeah, because it was Saturday, so I didn't expect a time change.
He's already had like what, 2 shows today?
Yeah, he's a busy guy.
He's a busy guy, and he'll have a show after we're done too. I mean, the guy is busy, so
yeah. So when I scheduled the show, it's Arizona time, and Arizona never changes,
right?
So like Tim and I were 2 hours apart. Now we're only an hour apart. Hey, Sandy D.
Hi, Sandy.
Welcome.
Oh, wait a minute.
What? You getting a message?
Hi, Christine.
Yeah. Hey, Christine. Hey, there's a house like 2 down from where I'm at right now that's for sale. That's really nice.
Oh,
I think she wants to move to Arizona.
I wouldn't blame her.
Yeah. I have to get her some info on it. But oh man, it's chilly here in Arizona today.
It's cool here. What's your temp right now?
Right now, I mean, it's cold for me. It's 63.
Oh,
right now. That's a cold Arizona day.
It's 69 here. It was 48 just a few hours ago.
How's the wind?
Windy.
Yeah, so that's really cold in Texas.
Yeah.
When the wind,
this morning.
I mean, from the north anyway, it's really cold.
In Long Island, it's hot. Can you imagine that? What is going on?
It's got to be aliens.
It's CERN.
Wow. So I'm pretty excited to talk about superstitions today. I mean, because both Tim and I have been mesmerized by the superstitions for most of our lives.
Our adult lives.
Adult lives, yeah. I mean, I moved here originally in 84, and I was here for 38 years before I went to Texas, and now I'm back. So, and I still have them as a view to show you. So, like before I moved, this was my view. If I get to this. Oh, yeah, here we go. So this was out of our upstairs window. You can kind of see him there.
That's him.
And now this is the view I have from our front yard here.
Oh my God, that's perfect. Look at that.
So there's something about that mountain.
You're just south of them.
Yeah. So here's an unobstructed view from that same angle, because they look different depending on the angle that you're viewing them from.
Yeah, that's over in Apache.
Yeah, that's from Apache Junction.
So, has anybody heard about the Superstition Mountains? Has anybody here got any? Have you seen any shows, or have you been there? Let us know if you've had any experiences with the superstitions. They're very, very popular, like worldwide, but they're not so popular national. And that's weird because a lot of people don't know about them in America, but it's known for all over the world from other countries because of the tourist information. So people get that information, and
They're very
a lot,
popular to hike the
yeah.
outside of it.
And everyone thinks that Arizona is a complete just flat desert, and that is completely untrue. We have more boats per capita. I say we now. Look at me. I'm in Texas.
Well,
Arizona had
yeah,
more
a lot of
boats
boats in
per
Texas.
capita than any other state in the United States, which is amazing because they have like I've been to 164 lakes in Arizona, and I haven't been near all of them. And so people think it's just a flat desert, and it's not. And the best thing about Arizona, I believe, Sedona, Grand Canyon, it has to be the Superstition Mountains.
They're just they've been a draw for me. I mean, we've hiked around them. I haven't gone deep into them. I did one hike where we hiked up into part of it where they do have petroglyphs, and that was a beautiful hike.
It's a very spiritual place.
And I wish I had pictures of that. Didn't get any that day.
Yeah, everyone thought it was flat. I thought it was flat. Of course, I lived in Texas, and so I'm like, why would I want to move to another flat place? But oh my, so much
Yeah.
more beautiful.
Well, living in the valley here, we are actually surrounded by mountains pretty much all around. You know, you got the McDowells to the east, the Superstitions to the Superstitions to the east, McDowell's kind of to the north. Santan Preserve is on the south, and then South Mountain to the west.
And the Australias, and
Yeah,
the white
Australias.
tanks, white tanks.
Yeah, white tanks are down closer to Tucson, right?
No, the white tanks are out by my mom's house out in Goodyear, or by Luke Air Force Base.
I guess I haven't been out there. What was I thinking? What's the Tucson range?
Tucson is I've been there. Sabino Canyon. That's they have a ski slope up there on that mountain.
Yeah, Mount Lemon. Is that Mount
Lemon? Mount
Yeah.
Lemon. That's Sabino Canyon.
Okay.
Which is absolutely phenomenal, gorgeous. But yeah,
here we have the Superstitions.
Yeah.
Here, I'm going to start this little slide thing, and we'll see how much we can cover. And I'm just hoping Chris pops in before we get done.
Enjoy this. You're going to love this. This is very interesting.
Well, so, whoops. There we go. We'll keep him up there. So the Lost Dutchman gold mine is probably where it, it went ahead of itself. Go back. There we go. Stop there. So anyway, Lost Dutchman gold mine, perhaps the most famous legend associated with the Superstition Mountains is that of Jacob Walls, known as the Lost Dutchman. Or, well, he was known as the Dutchman, but now.
But he was German, so.
He was German. He reportedly discovered a vast gold mine hidden in the mountains in the late 19th century. After his death, he took the exact location of the mine with him, leading countless treasure hunters to search for it, often with no success. Many believe the mine is still undiscovered. What do you think, Tim? Do you think
I think it's still undiscovered? But he does give a clue to it. He says he has a map, but it's not very accurate. But he does, the clue that he has is that you can see the mine, you can see the highway, you can see the road from the mine, but you can't see the mine from the highway. That's his tease. So if you're standing at the mine, you can actually see the road coming in through the Superstition
Oh, the
Mountains.
Apache Trail?
The
Is that what
Apache
he's
Trail.
talking about?
The trail. You can see the Apache Trail from the mine, but you can't see the mine from the Apache Trail. That's his secret.
So from his time, that would have been dirt.
Yeah, the trail. I say road. The trail.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's still there today, except it's paved. But
It is paved. Well, to a point, yeah.
Yeah.
But
yeah, there's lots of tales. We'll get into the Peralta family massacre, but the Peralta stones are also believed to. Here, I got a picture of those. They're believed to be part of a treasure map of finding the lost Dutchman's gold.
Right. So you see the trail,
which is this part. Does my mouse show on it?
No.
Too bad.
It looks like a mountain. The squiggly line that goes right down the middle. That's the trail.
So the squiggly line at the bottom is the mountain.
No. That's the trail.
The broken line is the trail. No.
Oh, the broken line is the trail to the treasure. The squiggly line is the Apache Trail.
Okay. So it's got a stamp for it says 1847 inside of where the heart stone goes into.
Right. And I believe that little teepee looking triangle there is Revis Ranch.
There, the bottom left?
In the middle, just above the second.
Not the square?
No, not the. I don't think it's a square. No, the square that would be. I'm not sure what that square was.
Yeah, I don't know.
I forgot.
These are at the museum.
Yeah,
the Superstition. No, they call it the Lost Dutchman Museum or the Superstition Mountain Museum.
And
yeah, interesting stuff.
So when I first moved there, I just fell in love with superstitions, and I didn't know anything about paranormal or aliens or anything like that. It wasn't until years later that I found out that it's a very spiritual, paranormal place. And I found out that much later. But in the beginning, when I first moved there, Joey, I'll tell a quick story of how I found it, and how I experienced it, and then Joey will do the same thing. So when I was working with American Airlines in 19,
oops, I just took him out.
Oh, hey, buddy.
It is the time vortex scope, mate. I thought it was 8 p.m. my time. You are going live. It's no 8:10. It's only 7 p.m. my time.
It's because I live in Arizona and we don't do the time change, so it changes for everybody else.
So welcome, Chris Mull.
Well, hello everybody. Hello.
We knew you were going to be here.
Yeah. My iPad was updating. My iPad had an update, and it was a wee Apple symbol. And the line was going up. So I was like, oh. Good to see everybody.
See, that's what happened with me when I came on your show on Saturday. It's like, wait.
That's right. There you go.
You're just paying me back. That's all.
Payback. I knew you were coming.
Yeah.
I was sitting there. I'm like, am I live right now? Because I noticed because obviously on the channel, I could see the red symbol, and I was, what's this? Because I was watching it on TV, and my iPad and my iPhone, yes, I'm an iPhone person, was updating, and had this Apple symbol with the wee line going up really slow.
Right.
And I was waiting, and I was like, oh no, they're waiting. So just as I come on, the iPad finished its update, but my phone's still doing its thing. So there you go. But I'm here now.
Yes, we just got into it a little bit.
Just got into it. You haven't missed a whole lot.
Actually, it's quite interesting that you bring that up, actually, because I was looking at I've been watching a lot of videos on the mine, the Lost Dutchman's mine.
Mm-hmm.
And I find it very interesting because a lot of people have disappeared looking for that mine.
Oh, yeah.
They're still looking for it.
Yeah, but here's the thing: there was a map that was found, that was given to these two guys. Said, "Look, listen, I found this map here, right?" And one of them mysteriously died,
Right.
right? And his wife had to sign this thing, but no, it can't allow anything to be out released or anything like that. I think, and I'm going to tell you this all week. I have just looked up stuff about the Dutchman mine. Hey, Sandy, that's all I've looked up is like stuff about the Dutchman mine. And I'm going to say this now. I think it has been found, but I think it's been deliberately hidden. I think
It has.
they don't
And
want people to have it.
Yeah. So
You know,
we'll get to that.
Yes.
You're right. You're right. Right.
In fact, I'll go on to the next slide, and we can talk about that a little bit. So the Apache curse, because I think they knew about the gold.
Absolutely.
So the man, that's small print. Now I got to get close.
that's what they are.
Anybody read that?
The Apache.
Oh, I'll tell you. I'll
tribes-
bring it up on
the-
my phone. That's what I'll do.
the Apache tribes historically, inhabited the region. Some legends tell of a hidden cave. Here we go, of gold that the Apaches. Jesus, I can't read that. Can I zoom up in this? I think I can zoom up in this.
I'll get
This iPad's got a new feature. That's right.
So the Apaches buried it to protect the Spanish brought the gold, and they had so much of it, and the Apaches conquered the Spanish, and then they hid the gold, and later the American settlers, this treasure said that it's hidden deep within the mountains, adding an allure to the area of the treasure hunters. It's said that they placed a curse on the gold of the superstitions.
Yeah.
And according to the legend, anyone who tries to steal the gold will face misfortune, accidents, or even death. This is a belief that has deterred many people from pursuing the treasure, but there's also been many people that have heard about the legend and gone in and looked for it themselves. And I'll bring up one real quick note. It was about 2001 that two brothers came from the East Coast, somewhere up in Jersey.
Yeah.
They flew in here and they had a mission to go in and find the treasure. And I lived out just a few miles from there. I lived at Power and Brown. So I'm just like 5 miles from
That's close to where I'm at right now.
Yeah. So that's where I lived. And so I used to go out there all the time and go fishing and have fun and run my wolf and take my kids and everything. So there was a day there was a week that they had all of the sheriff's department and I think there was some of the Papago National Guard. They sent some of those out there. These guys they went out for this hike, and 2-3 days later they didn't come back and their families got concerned. And so they spent like a 7-day period out there with helicopters and sheriff's department and the posse and horses and everyone looking for them. So there's been twice that I've been out there that they've been on investigations looking for people that have disappeared out there, and they've never found anything from them. I mean, no remains, no camping gear, nothing. And there's a Peralta Trail, and there's the Drinkwater Trailhead that leads up to Weaver's Needle. And me and my buddy, we were rock climbers, and we went up to Weaver's Needle, and we climbed to the top of Weaver's Needle, spent the night, and then came down and came back out. So I've been all through the superstitions, and I've got some more stories about the superstitions. I've been there in other places that I'll talk to you about later. But so many people go out there looking for this treasure because this map and the legend gives these really, really good details about where the gold is. So many of these treasure hunters have gone out there and they've found one guy. They did find a body once, and his head was missing.
The body. Yeah.
It makes you wonder how much gold there actually is. Right.
It's got to be a ton.
Say the mine exists. Do you think it's in the billions of dollars? Do you think?
Oh
That's how
yeah,
much
I would
there
think
is?
so. Yeah, and I'm not so. Growing up over the years, a lot of people thought he discovered a vein, and it was there
Yeah.
naturally. And then there's
Mhm.
also the rumors that the Spanish brought it up
That's right.
and hid it there.
Yeah.
So there's two different stories, but neither one has been proven or disproven.
See, I seen that about the Spanish Encodors. The what do you call it? The reckon that's where it was hidden, and it wasn't. It was in gold. It was what do you call it? It was in. They melted it down and they
It was
put it in
bullion,
brick
yeah.
form.
Mhm.
Yeah, and it was also in coin form.
Yes.
So it
Bars
makes,
and coins.
it makes you wonder. Yeah. So, but it makes you wonder if it is the natives of that region. Do you think, is there anybody round about that? Who owns the land? Who owns that land? Is it
The
state
state.
land?
It's National Forest Service.
Yeah.
And it's legal to, you can pan in the little rivers, but you cannot, and you can, what do you call it? Metal detect, but you cannot dig.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. I was just going to say because it would make. I see a lot of people have went and said they found it because I watched
Yeah, there are
one video
claims
the
up
other
there
night.
that still exist.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. I watched a video the other night there about this young guy. He says, "Oh, I found the Dutchman mine. I found it in Google Maps. I found it in Google Maps." But in actual fact, what he had found, it was some Native American. It was some to do with the Native American. It wasn't a
Something you
mine.
shouldn't disturb, right?
Yeah, you shouldn't disturb it. And the guys, they actually went out there because there's a museum, for kind of the Cowboys Museum,
Mhm.
and they went out there, and it was nothing to do with the Dutchman mine. It was something to do with the Native Americans that lived there long ago. It was old buildings or something. It looked like a mine. I'll give you that. See from above, it looked like a mine, but from the side on, it was just an old ruins, and they thought that. But it makes you wonder. Is it a legend?
Yeah.
Is it a creature up there? Is it some type of supernatural force that's stopping these people? Why would you take their head? Is that to scare people away?
Yeah.
To say, oh, the creature.
In the
did it?
80s,
But
I
in
heard
actual
that
fact,
I heard that you stay away from there because there's people protecting it and they will shoot you
Mhm.
or they will get rid of you. That's what I heard in the 80s. So I don't know if that's true or not. And then I also heard
Right.
that it's cursed. So if you go up there, something happens to you. But I think there's two different gold deposits that we're talking about.
Mhm.
Or I don't know.
Yeah. The gold belongs to the land, and the
Right.
land belongs to the spirit of.
Right.
The
That's
Apache
the cursed
tribe.
area. The ones that the Spanish brought up there, I believe, is what the German
Jacob.
found.
Could be.
Yeah,
They
I went.
say skinwalkers and all that are up there.
Right. And it's protected by, yeah.
And see if Tim knows what this slide is. I think this lends a lot to.
The Apache tribes is historically in, oh, I'm sorry.
Do you recognize what that is?
Okay. That's the south side, right?
It's known as Apache Leap.
Right. This is where
Mhm.
people, yeah. Do you have the story with you?
Don't have the whole story, but the story is that the cavalry or whatever chased the Apaches to the top,
And they
and
committed
rather than
suicide by
them,
jumping off.
yeah, they did not surrender. They jumped off.
It's a tale.
It's a tale, sure.
But that's what that area is called. That's over in Gold Canyon.
Mm-hmm.
Here's just an idea. I mean, what happens, everybody thinks it's in that mountains, right? But what happens if the gold isn't in that mountains? What happens if that's just what happens if it's somewhere totally different? Think about it.
No, I believe it's there because right at the base of the Superstition Mountains is a little place called Gold Canyon Mine.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that right, Joey? Gold Canyon?
Yeah.
Ghost?
Yeah.
No. And so
No, go ahead.
they have actual remnants of things that were made from the gold that was found out of the mountain.
Yeah.
There's a cigarette case lighter. There's actual it's the gold is there.
That's
We know the
right.
gold is there. They've confirmed it's there. So the mountains themselves are often described as alive with spirits and ancient energies, possibly even skinwalkers. Many hikers and
That's
adventurers have
the gold.
reported strange occurrences such as hearing voices, seeing unexplained lights, UFOs darting in and out of the mountain, also experiencing sudden change in temperatures, which I have done. So it's got a lot of tales from a lot of different perspectives.
Oh,
I mean,
Lisa
I've
said
watched
you were talking about
yeah.
Goldfields. I'm sorry.
Goldfield mine. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I seen that the case that was made at the gold and how they tested it, and then how the geologist went up and they looked for the same kind of location. I mean, why would you want? I mean, you would think by now somebody would talk about it. You think about it, wouldn't you?
Well, it's been that way for years.
Especially
It's
at
all
the
been
price of
talk.
gold.
It's just been talk. Yeah.
I mean, no, but what I mean is, right, say somebody knew where the gold was, right? Say somebody knew where the gold was. You would think that they would talk about it because the price of gold now, I mean, good God, an ounce of gold now is what, $1,000 more than
The
$1,000?
Dutch
Yeah, I don't know what does gold go for now?
Oh my God! I mean,
I don't know, Kenny.
2,800
Per ounce.
wait, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
I'll tell you the now.
Joey, see if you can bring up a picture of Weaver's needle, and I'll tell a story about that. But no, the Dutchman was the only one that came across the gold.
Let's see if you can see it from this one.
He's the only one that has
gold. Yeah. Gold is 2,000 pounds an ounce.
Is it two?
So yeah,
Well,
so what's
so
that
that's
dollars? Nearly
pounds, so it'd be,
$3,000.
it could be close to 20, 23, 20.
So if you look at this picture, see the far left, that those little things that look like just little figure
fingers almost.
fingers
There.
on them.
Yeah.
So I used to
that.
climb those. Me and my buddy used to get our rappelling ropes, and we would park right here at this little on the left here. There's a little trailer park or a camping area, and you can go camp. And we walked up to those things right there, and we used to rock climb those and go to the top of those. I've been all through there. Now, right through.
And that's from Lost Dutchman Park, right?
Yes. Yeah. So we've also gone up a trail that goes, if you look over to the right and goes around the side, we went up a trail there. It took us probably 7 hours, and we walked up there, and at the top of those mountains right there, see that is that an airplane over there on the top?
That's what I was just about to say. Is that UFO?
All right. So see the mountains right below the airplane? Right at the top of those is like a forest. There are pine trees. It's gorgeous. We hiked up to just almost to the top of that area and had to turn around and come back because we ran out of water. But yeah, I've been all over these mountains, and I've actually seen lights in these mountains, which I have so many stories, but I'll let Joey do it.
Talk about the lights. You've seen them. So yeah, it's from the museum. So you talked about the museum. They have the Superstition Mountain Museum, and it's also called the Lost Dutchman Museum. But we do ghost tours up there with the group belong to. So we run the tours through there's all kinds of crazy stuff there. But just standing in the parking lot, we were looking at the mountains one night, and some lights caught our eyes, and we watched them for, it could have been an hour. I don't know, but there are lights darting in and out of the mountain. And, then we saw one that almost looked like it was like bouncing off the mountain, down the mountain. And, if they were hikers, they were moving unhumanly fast. So if there were humans with lanterns up there or something, it was just
it could be extraterrestrials looking for the gold.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And another time we were doing a private home investigation that the house was right there right below that peak below. I think it's Iron Pan or something like that they call it. And we caught a light that was going behind it and coming back out and circling around, and it did that for a long time. It does happen. And I know Tim, he's been out there with the CE5.
Yeah.
And I want to hear his story.
We did a huge investigation out there at CE5 right off of the Drinkwater Trailhead. And I'd say there were probably, I think there's 28 people total. And everyone brought their gems and their stones and their precious mineral rocks. And we put them in a circle. We all got around and we started playing some crop circle music, which I don't know if you guys know what that is, but they've got recorded sounds of when crop circles have been made. They've got recordings of the high pitched frequencies. So we played that back on a boom box and we played it out loud. And then we sit there and we asked the aliens to come in and talk to us and communicate with us. And we had so many experiences out there where we'd shine our laser lights out there at something, because everyone has laser lights. So you point them at an object and you can't hit it directly in case it's an airplane, but you can do a little circle around it so everybody else can kind of get an idea of what you're looking at. So we were all doing that. But this one time there was a light just flashing and it would come in and out. It was sporadic. It didn't have any consistency or anything. So several of us trained our lasers on that light and hit the light, and then we stopped and the light flashed back at us. It's almost like we got a response. It's hard to explain, but it's crazy. I mean, it's hard it's hard to explain, man. The feeling you get, the vibration, there's a vibration out there, believe it or not. It feels like the ground is vibrating at like a low frequency, it feels like you're next to electricity. You know how the power lines, when you go out and you hear the from a power line, that's how it sounds out there. And it's just
is it like a boom, boom, boom?
No, it was steady. It was steady. The steady vibration, but it's very, very low and it's hard to pick up. More than half of the people didn't hear it at all. And other people were like, oh yeah, I totally hear it. So you had to be sensitive to it, or you had to be, I wonder
what was causing that.
In tune to it. But I felt it. I didn't feel it like other people did. And then some people didn't feel it, but I totally felt the low hum vibration.
That's spooky.
I think I noticed it. Yeah, I think I understood it. I felt it. I mean, at that point, your minds can play trick on you if everyone says they're feeling it and you don't. You're looking for it. But there was a point where I was out there standing, just looking down and just listening and being quiet. And I did feel the vibration. So that got me really excited. That was a really, really, really good experience.
I'd love to go on one of those.
I think we need to go and look for the lost gold. What do you think?
No.
Take us up there.
The locals that know about the mountain, that know all that stuff, they won't. Well, they won't go into it at night. I guess.
Right.
We can go there.
And anyone that lives there will tell you, don't even try it. Don't even try it. Don't even attempt it. I mean, there are many people that have gone looking for it, and then they just found their cars at the end of the Drinkwater Trailhead.
Yeah.
It's just not worth it. Besides, it's not yours anyway.
You would think the government would investigate something like that, wouldn't you?
I think they're keeping it closed. I think they have, and that's why it's off limits. That's why they've made the rules. No digging, no mining, no claim staking, no nothing. There are several claims up there that are still filed with the state, but they've been taken over by the National Forest Department and they're no longer valid. I wouldn't say it was negative. It wasn't negative at all. I can sense negative because that's kind of my background and my upbringing, being a minister and having, demonology training and everything. I don't sense any negativity about it whatsoever. That's a good question, Jenny.
It makes you wonder if it's not just something that's gold that's buried there, that's something else that maybe the Spanish brought up.
It could be both. I think it's both. I don't think there's one treasure.
This is going down the roads. Again, this has got to sound mad, but you're going down the roads of Indiana Jones with the crystal skulls and stuff like that. You said the humming kind of sound. I mean, what happens if it's an artifact that was down with the Spanish murderers they found, right? They brought it up and thought, "Oh, stick it in here. It'll be safe here than now."
So there's several stories, and man, I wish you can go read this for yourself. You can look it up. There was a time where there were Indians out there, and it was called Fish Creek Hill, and I've camped out in the cave by Fish Creek Hill, and it was said that the Union soldiers, or the whatever those guys were back then, Custer and all the Union troops, at one time chased a whole bunch of them up into this area at Fish Creek Hill, and they trapped them in a cave and they slaughtered them. So I went out and spent the night in that cave, and I will never do that again. ever. Yeah, I was out there one night, and my buddy, I have my two friends that I used to stay out there and explore that place with. They are now passed. And one of my friends, we were out there, we were at the Fish Creek Hill cave, and we walked in and we had walkie-talkies and radios. And I said, "All right, man, when you get here, reach up on my tire, grab the radio, turn it on, and I'll talk you into where we are." So he grabbed his radio and turned it on. And so he's walking in. It's about 1.5 miles. And I'm like, "So you stopped and got your gear, right?" And he goes, "Well, I didn't have time to get all of it." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He goes, "Well, I couldn't get all of it." I'm like, "Tell me you got your mummy bag." And he goes, "The mummy bag is a sleeping bag that protects you from like very, very low temperature." And he says, "No, I bought a bedspread." And I'm like, "Oh my God." And me and Pete and Andrew were freaking out. We're going, "Dude, you're going to die. There's no way. You just turn around and go back." And so anyway, he ended up getting there, and it turned out to be 7 degrees that night. And he woke up we woke up at the middle of the night, and he was next to me, and he was shaking and freezing and shaking. And I said, "Dude, get over here." So I undid my mummy bag and got him into it. And I, of course, couldn't zip it up all the way, but saved his life. He would have died.
Oh yeah.
But we went through some really weird stuff that night. I mean, they have large raccoons out there. They have large bobcats. They have large mountain lions. They have there's all sorts of animals out there.
It can be shapeshifters.
And there's other things out there that we could not, that were making noises and making like coming across in our paths and everything that we did not recognize. There were no tracks. So there were things out there that were not physical that we were witnessing and hearing. Freaked me out.
I would love to drone it. I wonder how many people fly their drones over. Probably quite a lot of people fly their drones over. But see, like all the wee caves and that, you could probably get a drone right up in you to have a look. And
they have the new expeditioners, the new explorers. They have drones, and they go out and they do they're doing the LiDAR, they're doing all that stuff, and they fly it over Reaver's Ranch and everything. But there's nothing to be found. Nobody's found anything.
I think it's subterranean. I think there'll be something subterranean underneath the entire.
Could be, possibly. Some people believe there's a like a inside the mountain there's a alien base.
So here's a funny thing about that. Well, I don't know if it's funny, but did you watch Project Blue Book? I think it was might have been on Sci-Fi or one of those, or History. I can't remember. It was it only lasted 2 seasons and it got canceled.
I watched that.
Really good though. Yeah. So there was a scene where they were supposedly investigating Area 51.
Yeah.
And they showed the mountain opening and and closing, that there was a base in there. But I got to show you the mountain that they used.
A lot of locals say that mountain opens up. A lot of locals.
Here's a scene from Project Blue Book. That's Area 51. Does it look familiar?
That's not Area 51. That is Superstitions.
Yeah, but that's what they used in that part.
That's
right in front of them is the part that opened up.
Yeah, that's Gold Canyon. And all the locals say that that mountain opens up and things go in and out of it at night. If you go up there to the locals, to the people that have lived there for many, many, many years, they've got stories they'll tell you that the mountains open up. And if you talk to the old, I can't remember the name of the tribe of the Indians. They're not there anymore, but back in the 80s, there were just a few remaining of them. And they would tell you about the gods that would come and enter and exit the mountain. And there's many tales of the locals telling you about how things enter in and out of the mountains. It opens up and enters in and leaves, which I haven't seen, but I totally believe. I believe them. I believe they believe what they saw.
Yeah.
Now I'll tell you one more story.
Sure.
So, in 1998, I lost a girlfriend to breast cancer, and I was devastated. And so my stepdad, Scotty, who is
it's hard to explain.
He's clairvoyant. He's
very, what episode was that?
I don't know what to call him.
On Truth About Beer, where we did that interview with Scotty, because maybe I can find that and link it to this.
I'm not sure, but Scotty could see your past. He could see the future. He can see a lot of things. He could tell me. I called him one time and said, "We've lost our keys. Where are they?" He goes, "They're laying under something, and it's a bat. It's black, and I can see it. It's laying on top of them." And he goes, "Go look in your car." I'm like, "How would you be in the car?" And we went out to the car, and we had tinted windows, and so I got a big flashlight and zoomed in, and sure enough, saw a key sticking out, and we called a locksmith and came out. So Scotty was a seer. All right. He was almost like a Nostradamus, I guess. He could make predictions. He could see the future. He could see the past. He told me about my past lives. And when I was a Canadian Air Force pilot, and he's told me many, many stories about my past. And so Scotty's incredible. So he picked me up and took me up to Superstitions, and we went out there and we went for a 2-day hike into the center of the Superstitions at the day my fiance died. And I had a come to Jesus trip with him out there, and I came back refreshed, reborn, renewed, cleaned, cleansed. I had a spiritual awakening. But the experiences out there, we were out there for 2 days, and when we got home, it felt like we were only out there for a few hours. And I can't explain it. It was really, really, really weird, because I can't remember eating the night that we got there. I don't remember having food. I'm like, what did we do for? And he got back and he goes, I don't remember. I know what we had the next day, but I don't know what we had the first night. We couldn't remember what we did the first night that we slept there. And we slept there out there under the stars in mummy bags, and couldn't remember one detail about the first night that we were there. So that was really strange. But anyway, all right, Joe, it's your turn.
I was going to answer Jenny's question. It's just east of the Superstitions, not east, north. We have what is known as the Mogollon Monster.
Yes,
which is Arizona's
Bigfoot.
Yeah. So, but this is what happens to a lot of hikers that go in there.
Yeah, it's fun. You can buy a copy of the treasure map. They sell them. They'll sell 150 copies a day on a Saturday. But you can't do it. You can't. It's It's completely Greek to anybody that would try to do it. It's impossible.
I've got a question. You said you climbed the rock faces. Have you ever been at the very top of it? Obviously,
Yeah.
it's a wee island.
If
haven't.
Joey, if you could, can you pull up a picture of Weaver's Needle? Can you just Google a picture of Weaver?
I've just noticed I've not
It
got my
would
lights
take
on.
more time. Yeah, I can show it from that other picture.
All right.
As you can see,
Weaver's Needle is a very, very,
you can see it.
it's almost like Devil's Mountain.
Well,
Aye.
I had one that was closer. Let's see.
No, Weaver's
I would
Needle
love
is
to look
way
at the
away
top of
from
that.
that mountain.
I would love to stand on the top of that and just nose around about.
So
Because I bet
we
there's stuff
climbed that and spent the night on the top of Weaver's Needle and came down. I mean, and it's different. It's
That's
almost
not it
like,
on the left.
no. It's way off to the left of that. If you Google
It's around the other side.
Weaver's Needle, it's a specific. It looks like Devil's Mountain. It looks like the one in Close Encounters. It's identical. It's amazing.
Oh yeah. Let's see if I can get it to come up quick.
I should have brought that in.
Oh, it keeps. Never mind.
Anyway,
I can try and upload
but
it.
yeah. So what was your question when we were climbing? What?
Have you ever stood in the very, very top of it? Obviously, it's like Table Mountain.
Yes.
In the top of it, right? So what's it like? Was it barn? Is there trees? Is it just like desert?
No, it's brush. Kind of it's scrub. It's scrub. Over on the mountains, it's a forest, but over on Weaver's Needle, it's just scrub. And it's like it's like Devil's Tower. It's identical to Devil's Tower. And we stayed up there for the night. It's very, very, very windy and very, very, very cold. And then we belayed. It's all bolted. There's trails you can buy at the REI store, the camping store. Nope, that's not it.
That's what it shows.
Oh, it is. That's from the other side. All right. So from the other side, it looks different. This is Weaver's Needle. So you're looking at it from the south side right here, but from the north side over on the other side, see where the mountains are on the other side. If you approach it from the other direction, there's a lot more of it to that side. And we hiked up to the top and camped out on top of that Weaver's Needle. That was awesome.
See the first, again, this has got to sound stupid, but see the first picture you showed there, Joe. The one, could you go back to it again? The very first one. Aye, right. Do you not think the rock to the left-hand side looks really weird? Right, see with the two cactuses, right? The two cactuses right in front of us there, right? To the left of them, you've got like a wee finger that looks like it's sticking up, and then it looks like a claw. You see that?
Okay. Well, see, all of those have a name.
Right. What's the names?
There's like in Echo Canyon, they've got a stone like that on the left, and it's called the Praying Monk. These will all have a name from the Indians, and I don't remember what they are anymore. But yeah, you can see faces, you can see statues, you can see Indian faces, you can see. There's a whole bunch of different figures that they've named. That you can
and here's something you can see twice a year out there.
Oh yeah, the cougar.
Ooh.
The cougar.
It's only twice a year.
Well, yeah.
At sunset, and it looks like a mountain lion with his mouth open, crawling down the mountain.
Yeah, it looks like it's chasing something there.
They've got one at Camelback as well.
Yeah, it's a fun picture.
That's weird. I mean, you would think there's a lot of like hidden messages there. You would think that, wouldn't you? I mean, you've got all the weird shapes and that. So maybe out there's a map somewhere that if you follow it correctly. Obviously, the map that you buy is just a load of rubbish. It's made up for tourism and agents that buy it. Get what I mean?
Right.
And get what I mean? It just takes them in a total opposite, wrong direction. And look, whoever's hiding the gold that's watching this, the move they are, you have probably hit that. So as people, idiots, all think, oh, the gold's up there, but in actual fact, it's not up there. Again, when I looked at that, I get a weird vibe, a really, really weird vibe. See the one that's like a what do you call it, a crab claw? You know, the one that I just pointed at you? I get a really weird vibe, and I thought I seen a face and the rock when I zoomed up with my phone.
But let me tell you really quick. I mean, this is brutal environment. They have
Yeah,
jumping
you wanna get me up
cactus.
there.
Mother Nature will kick your butt up there, man. It is brutal. The scrub, just walking through there is treacherous.
I bet it is, and there'll be snakes too. There'll be strange
There's snakes, there's
serpents.
cacti,
Yeah.
it's and the heat and the wrong time of the year, people go up there and die. They go up there and they don't take enough water and they die.
Yeah,
That
there's
happens.
actually a snake. I mean, they have the Western diamondback up there.
Western
of course.
diamondback.
Yeah,
But there's another poisonous snake that's more indigenous to Mexico that is up there, and you don't find them in between. So that was always a mystery of how those snakes ended up in there, and I don't remember what they're called. I don't know if it's a viper of some sort, but yeah,
Here's
something
a
you
mad
don't want to
thought.
get bit by.
Here's a mad thought. Is there any ley lines run through the area?
I'm sorry, what?
Ley lines. Is there how many ley lines run through the mountain itself?
I don't know.
How many what?
Because
Ley lines.
ley lines.
I don't know about
Because
ley
I
lines
found that
because
they play a big part in certain things.
Yeah,
It's like Loch Ness.
that's interesting.
There's
I have to look
multiple-
into that.
Because
See
see
if there
Loch
are any
Ness,
ley lines that run through it.
Loch Ness has
watched
got
it.
loads of ley lines running through it.
yeah, I watched a show that these guys did go up and do a topical. They did some photographing over it, but I don't think really ley lines ever really showed up like that. But there were anomalies. There was a ton of anomalies out by
You can
Revis
usually get it
Ranch.
if you go into Google Maps and then you put it onto the kind of the paper. Look, it
Yeah,
shows all the
I've
things
searched.
going
I've
through it.
looked at it many times, Chris. I've been all over those mountains. We've looked at for places to go, and I mean, there's more detailed maps, but there's really nothing that stands out.
Trying to see where Weaver's Needle is on this.
All right, so
You could say, okay, there's. I know
Okay.
where Lost Dutchman
Cool.
is.
so Weaver's Needle is up where it says trailheads. See Revis Ranch? You have to get to Revis Ranch to get to it. So it's northwest of Revis Ranch. So it's not on the map. It's up where you see where the word
Okay.
trailheads is.
Yeah.
It's up there.
So it's not on
No, it's not on that map.
the trailhead map.
But Tortilla Flats and Fish Creek Hill
Yeah.
and
Terrain.
Fish Creek
So
Hill's not
while
even on.
you're looking there, Chris, I'm going to show a video real quick.
All right.
Something else that's taken place or took place up there that makes paranormal investigating very interesting these days. But
The majestic Superstition Mountains in the East Valley are a beautiful landmark. It's a touchstone for everyone who lives here. But 10 years ago tonight, it was the site of an awful tragedy. It was Thanksgiving Eve 2011, and our hearts collectively sank when a plane carrying 6 people crashed into the mountains. Everyone on board died, including 3 young children and their father. Their mother, Karen Perry, who happens to live just miles from the crash scene, was sick in bed that night, unaware that anything was wrong until the phone rang.
911 emergency.
The plane just crashed into the Superstition Mountains, and it just kind of flew right into the freaking mountain.
Okay.
It looked like they flew like they didn't know shiprock was there.
I got a phone call from my nanny, and she was in tears, and I said, "What's the matter?" And she said, "There's been a plane crash." And then I was totally in shock, and I just hung up the phone, and I sent a message to my friend Eva, and I said, "I think I just lost my whole family in a plane crash."
These are the last images of the Perry kids arriving at Falcon Field that night to fly with Karen's ex-husband, Sean, to spend Thanksgiving in Safford. Logan 8, Luke 6, followed by their 9-year-old sister, Morgan. It's 6 p.m. In 30 minutes, they would be gone. The NTSB eventually determined pilot error was the cause of the crash. The pilot was simply unaware that the straight-line path he programmed to Safford that night put him on a collision course with the Superstition Mountains, which were not visible on that moonless night. The plane was also not equipped with a terrain avoidance system. Karen has pondered the what-ifs over and over in the past 10 years, pursuing every detail of the crash, even visiting the wreckage at a salvage yard.
Wow.
She had to see it for herself. And every year on the anniversary, she makes the 3-hour climb up the mountain to the spot.
Obviously some kind soul that came and left a memorial here and also left some toys and pictures.
Injured in a recent horseback riding accident, Karen couldn't physically make the climb this year. Her friends will honor her kids without her.
So anyway, so to carry on from that story, so she was injured in a horseback accident or horseback riding accident and can't go up there anymore. So what they did out at the Superstition Museum, which is not quite far up the mountain as the accident happens, they took the wreckage and built a memorial that's up one of the trails. And there's a bench there, you know, so she could go sit and still do her whatever she did when she went up there. But as paranormal investigators, we've been up there and we get Morgan all the time coming through.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just it's very chilling to see the wreckage and it's kind of sad.
And with CE5, we've gone up there to do investigations, and that's where lights appear on that thing. And the new people were like, "Oh, it's a car." I'm like, "No, you don't understand. There are no roads up there." Well, it's somebody camping. I'm like, "No, you don't understand. This is inaccessible." I mean, where we were seeing the lights, and it was very, very strange, different color lights, changing colors, coming in and out and everything right where that happened. It was amazing.
Do you think that's, do you think that's their spirits, or do you think that's something else? Do you think that's maybe
I don't think it's natural. I know it's not natural. It's got to be paranormal. I don't know whether it's Indian spirits. I don't know whether
I think so. I mean, this is
it feels to me Native American. That's what I feel when I go up there.
Yeah, no, it's been a sacred place for the Apaches and whoever came before them. You know, it's always been
and I think that's where they experienced their gods and communicate with their gods there, and then they eventually cursed it for others. So I think the members of those tribes are still able to communicate with it, but others aren't.
Has anybody ever tried to talk to maybe the elders of the Native Americans?
Oh, we've done a lot of recordings out there, man. Oh yeah, we've done a lot. We've only seen things that have come in and responded to as far as visual, but we've never gotten anything verbal ever. And we got the vibration, but vibration and visual is all we've ever gotten. And people do this every night. I mean, CE5, they have their investigations out there all the time. They make it like a weekend party. They go out there on Friday nights and just sit out and keep doing it and keep doing it and keep doing it. And they see things, we're waiting for the reveal, but there's not been a big reveal yet. There's no answers, definite answers. There's more questions than our answers.
I think it's obviously just what you're talking about. It's a very spiritual place.
It's very spiritual.
That's what makes me wonder with the ley lines and stuff like that, because I've found in a lot of places that I've been with ley lines, there's always some weird shit happens. Some really, because I've noticed.
I wouldn't be surprised if there's a ley line that goes from there to Sedona. Something that connects Sedona and
got to be connected.
Yeah,
Mhm.
It's probably a portal too. It's probably part of a portal.
I looked
I wouldn't
at the
doubt that.
geomap just over the area, and there's multiple lines running through, but I don't know what one is. What do you call it? Ley lines. You have to look it up in a proper map.
Right.
Well, maybe before Phoenix was properly developed, you might have found that. I don't think you would find that now because the area between the two have been so constructed. But Arizona does have its own triangle, though. You know that, right? It has its triangle.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that. Does that?
It's Sedona, Flagstaff, and help me, Joey. You don't know it?
I don't know that one.
It's the Kachina Triangle. It's from the Hopi.
All north, or is any of it going to the south?
It's all north. It's Sedona, Flagstaff, and then it comes down to
like the Mogollon Rim, or to Four Peaks.
I think Four Peaks. I can't remember.
Yeah, that's all.
That's where they say the Kachina used to come and go. Our ancestors and the people from the stars, the star people, would come in and out, giving them. I mean, you look up on their hieroglyphs and their petroglyphs. I mean, it's completely recorded. Strange, little like ant people and Martians and antenna people. Everything's recorded up there, but that's supposedly where they would come and go and communicate with the Apaches and the Hopis.
Was it in Arizona or was it Nevada where that guy? Remember that guy disappeared? What was his name? Was it Veach or something like that? He went into the mountains and disappeared. You know who I'm talking about? And there was a conspiracy for a long, long time to think that the government had took him. It was just outside Groom Lakes. How far is Groom Lakes from you?
That's Nevada.
That's Nevada, right? So he went up into the mountains and just disappeared. And they spent weeks and weeks searching for him, and they've not found anything yet. And supposedly there was like an entrance to an alien base or something like that, because there was UFOs sighted. And it is, well, it's next to the testing grounds, isn't it? It's next to the salt flats where they test all the jets and stuff like that. And he disappeared. But look, there could be anything there. There could be a UFO base. We don't know what's about. There could be anything that's hidden, you know?
Yeah.
It's hidden.
You can Google alien bases on Earth. Try it. You'll be amazed at how many bases they say. Just Google it. Say, alien bases on Earth. They're up in Flagstaff. They're in Sedona. They're in South Mountain. They're in Tucson. They're all over the state of Arizona, and they're all over the United States. It is a thing. And it tells you how many ships are there and what species are there and how many species are there. And it gives you in-depth like information on it, which you have to take it with a grain of salt. But
what I do find interesting is when I was looking at the what you call it, the gold mine's meant to be there, the mountain, right? I love the name of places, because see, the name of places can usually tell you secrets about the places. See, here in Scotland, right? There's a place called Briggside, but it was built maybe in the 1900s, so it's a mining village, right? But before that, there was a place called Black Sands, right? And it was something to do with the Celtic, and there was a big battle there, right? To do with the Scottish and English and stuff like that. And it's usually the name gives away for what it means, because it's in Celtic. When I was looking at this, I noticed there's just across from it, there's a place called Gateway. It's interesting that, because there's a place called Gateway. And it makes you wonder, how did that place get that name, Gateway?
Well, yeah.
Did it get the gateway to the west, or was it the gateway to another land?
Well, that's the same with the Australia Mountains. The Australia means gateway to the stars. And that's out where my mom lives, over in West Phoenix. So the Australia Mountains we could do a whole show on the Australia Mountains as well. I mean, they're amazing. Instead of gold, it's silver, though.
I bet silver's not as worth
Silver's
as much.
good.
I mean, silver's Silver's. I've got loads. I've got actually a few silver ingots. I bought them when silver was relatively cheap. It's worth a bit now, but it's not worth as much as people think it is. But gold's worth more, obviously. Can you imagine finding all that gold? Can you imagine? Can you imagine what's there? Tons of it.
Yeah, I mean, I think you'll find it,
back
but I don't think you'll ever be able to get it out of there.
Tim,
Yeah, you can't own it. You can't claim it. You can't do anything.
The mountain.
No, you end up disappearing.
All you can do is brag about it. That's it. If you survive the government shutting you up.
Oh, I was going to talk about the Peralta family, and
the Peraltas.
Yeah, because that's another thing that adds to the
mystery.
Yeah, the mystery, and why it's could be as haunted as it is. But the Peralta massacre was the alleged killing of a Mexican family by Apaches in about 1848. It is generally featured as an element of the legend of the Lost Dutchman's gold mine. There are many variations of the story, but they generally include these details. During the 1840s, the Peralta family of northern Mexico supposedly developed rich gold mines in the Superstition Mountains. In 1848, during a routine expedition to carry gold back to Mexico, the large party was ambushed by Apaches, and all were killed except for a few Peralta family members who escaped, according to the legend. The Apaches buried the gold and covered the mine. However, according to historian Robert Blair, the Peralta massacre never occurred.
Yeah.
But who knows? It's a story that's been told. And then I showed the Peralta stones, which is
there's plenty of places named after them too. There's the Peralta Trail. There's Peralta Rock.
They really existed. There's no doubt that the family existed, but whether they were massacred or not was.
I think the person trying to throw people off is just to keep people away. Because if you go out to the Lost Dutchman gold mine, and you talk to the oldest guy there, and I can't remember his name, and it's a Bob. Yeah, we talked to him, right?
Yeah, we talked to Bob.
So is that the guy that's interviewing YouTube? I think it is.
Probably. He's the old. He's the guy, and he will get your hamster running, but he won't tell you anything. But he will make you think that it's all true without giving you any information.
And that he knows exactly where the gold is.
And he knows exactly where it is. But he's been sworn.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they had
to his grave.
So you have to take that with a grain of salt. But I think he's trying to protect the legend.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't he the guy that showed us the cigarette container made from the gold from the mine? From there? Yeah. He showed us gold from the mine.
Oh, yeah.
It's an active mine there, right there. And he showed us a belt buckle and a cigarette. I think it was a cigarette.
A little tube.
And maybe a lighter. Do you remember that?
I was just going to say, I see there's the picture here, the Lost Dutchman, the man himself that's buried. It makes you wonder if he's buried with anything. I shouldn't have said that. People have been out the other night with a shovel and this.
No idea.
It makes you wonder if he's been buried with anything.
There's so many stories. There's so many tales.
Well, it started too soon. So, no, go ahead, Tim. I was just going to bring this up so
the legends continue to draw adventurers to the paranormal and paranormal investigators and UFO enthusiasts and treasure seekers to the Superstition Mountains, keeping the spirit of the exploration and adventure alive amidst the stunning deserts and rugged terrain. Whatever one believes in the legends or not, the mountains, I'm sorry, it's hard to read, offer a fascinating glimpse into the stories that have been shaped
Yeah.
in the region. And it's an incredible story. And
And
it's
if
a
you ever have
beautiful
a
place.
chance, if you ever have a chance and you're in Arizona, go to the Superstition Mountain Museum, or also known as the Lost Dutchman Museum, and you can experience a lot of it there.
Right. And the story I was telling when Chris came on was the way Joey and I discovered it is in the 80s. When I worked for American West Airlines, I was in Lubbock, Texas, and they said, well, we have to fly you to Phoenix for a couple of days to do your orientation and your drug test and your physical and all that stuff. So we're like, oh, cool. So they flew 5 of us down to Tempe, Arizona, and we spent the time there, and we were asking locals, hey, what's the funnest thing to do? What's a cool thing to do? What's we're tourists, we're sightseers. They're like, you have to go to the Apache Trail. It's called 88. And we're like, all right, cool. What's Apache Trail? All right, what's that? And so a group of people, they called Pink Jink Tours back then, were the biggest.
I remember those, yeah.
The biggest
Jeep tour company, right? I mean,
yeah, they were the biggest tourist industry people that would take you down there. So they would take you out to Lost Dutchman Mine, Goldfield Mine, and they would take you. We went all the way to the Canyon Lake. There's Lake Sorrel, there's Lake Canyon, there's Lake Apache, and then eventually it goes up to Roosevelt near Globe, which is a huge dam. And all of these lakes have been dammed off to make these little lakes. And they're all absolutely gorgeous. And I have fished on all of them. I've canoed on all of them. I've camped out in all of the areas. And I fell in love with that place, man, when I went out there. So when I came back after having a day going up the Apache Trail, I got back into Lubbock and I started searching up job openings for Phoenix to get me to move to Phoenix, because I wanted to live anywhere near the Superstition Mountains. I fell in love with them. And I saw an ad one day and it said flight assistant. I thought it said assistant. And I'm like, yeah, I can assist flights, whatever. And I didn't know what it meant. It was a flight attendant. I didn't know what that meant. And I ended up becoming a flight attendant, which is now, back then they were stewardess, but we didn't know what a flight attendant was. And so I ended up becoming a flight attendant for 30 years, working for, America West and Frontier and everything. But I moved to Arizona and I've spent so many hours out in the Superstitions, and I love that place. I'm connected. I wouldn't mind having my ashes spread anywhere over that area.
To see that place one day.
I would love that. And I know I'll go back one day before I die. I'm going to. It's not even a question. But my heart is there. I'm spiritually connected to that place more than any place on the planet.
And your soul is missed, Tim.
Yeah.
Don't you worry, Jolie. In your old age, you'll push him up in the wheelchair to the very top.
Except I'm almost 10 years older than he is.
You'll be fine. I'll come to you.
No, I'm in bad shape, Chris. Stop it.
I'm in bad shape, I know. The 3 years go to the top. I don't think we're coming back.
Next time, right? No, but that would be my dying wish, is to have my ashes spread over in the Superstition Mountains. That would be fantastic.
That sounds good to me too, or for my wish, because I'm in love with them.
And I can talk about tourist places all over the United States. I've been to all 50 states twice. I mean, I've been to 19 countries. There are places that I've been all over the world, but I'm telling you right now, there is no more of a place that had a spiritual connection than this place right here. It gets into your bones. It saturates your mind and your spirit and everything. It's the most spiritual place I've ever been in my life.
It has to be experienced.
It's got to be experienced.
Yeah.
That's why we did this show, to let you guys know. But I can't believe I moved away from it. But
when did you move away from?
Just a few years ago. But you know what? I've I'm still connected. I've had so many experiences there. I used to rock climb out there and fish there, and I took my grandpa there on a lake one day, and a big storm came up and blew us to the other side of the lake, and we had to spend the night on the other side without a tent or anything because we couldn't get back. So we just slept on the ground all night. I had a boat. They released water from the dam at Sorrel Lake, and we didn't know about it, and our boat got swept away, and we had to wait and be rescued. Me and my kids.
Yeah.
We had to take our tent, all of our camping area, and run to higher ground. We almost died.
Yeah.
It was. I've had a lot of experiences out there.
How many reservoirs are up there? Because there's quite a few.
How many what?
Dams, reservoirs, dams.
There's
is it 3 main or 4?
There's Roosevelt.
That's the top.
There's Canyon and Sorrow.
Sorrow, yeah, 4. Yeah.
And also one time we were coming back from a trip, and the motorcycle riders like to drive their motorcycles through there, like on a Sunday morning because there's no traffic and they like to go through there. We were headed back, and unfortunately we came across a guy that took a corner. He didn't make it, and he went under a car, and the boat and trailer kind of like slipped off the cliff, and they were barely teetering on his body. And I ran around to the other side, climbed up there, and I heard his last breaths and everything, and I prayed for him. But I've had a lot of experiences out there.
Yeah, and it has spoken to Christine too when she came out to visit.
It does. It calls you. It does.
Right, that's that. I'm coming to visit you. That's that.
Oh, dude. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Before Sedona, before the Grand Canyon, before anywhere else, I would recommend the Superstition Mountains.
I've been watching a lot of videos lately. I don't know what it is, but see, is it the Grand Teton Range? That's beautiful. You ever seen that?
Oh, yeah. In Idaho, yeah.
Yeah.
The Tetons? That's Wyoming.
Teton. Yeah, that is a beautiful place.
That's Wyoming. Cody.
Well, I saw it from Idaho. That's where I saw it.
Well, you can see it from a lot of places. It's huge. I went horseback riding up in the Grand Tetons. But yeah, this place is by far, I don't know, it's one of a kind. It's special.
There'll be something drawing you back. That's what it'll be. It'll be something wanting you to come back.
And I was drawn to it way before I got into the paranormal, way before that happened in my life. And that only enhanced it. In 95. Yeah, I saw the superstitions as a whole different entity.
I think about it. Maybe there is a connection there that you planned before you came to this plane.
Had to be. It all connected.
You see, it's all connecting up, and knew that you're talking. Could you think about all those years ago when you were first there? That you
it all makes sense
about it, talking about airplanes and gold.
It all makes sense.
Oh man,
it all came together.
So yeah, Christine, you need to be here. This is interesting.
All my medical issues were not.
So she was here visiting just last month. Yeah.
It's a place to heal, man. It's a healing place. Let me tell you, between Sedona and Payson and Prescott and even down in Benson and Tombstone, it's a healing state.
This place I've always wanted to go is Tombstone.
A lot of people go there from the east. When they get sick and get ailments, they all go to Arizona. They all go south.
My doctor says to me, you should really go to a warmer climate, and that'll help your sinus, because I was getting sinus.
It helps with arthritis.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's arthritis teared my hands. Yeah,
there's no humidity. And the air is clean and fresh, and a lot of people go there to heal.
Oh, there's nothing like the smell that comes off of the ground after a rainstorm in the desert. That's
never experienced that before.
If you could bottle that, you'd be a millionaire.
Yeah. You can't explain that. You have to experience it too. Yeah. But it's
cleansing. It's better than any like natural spring up in the mountains or anything. It's amazing. It's cleansing. It's just absolutely wonderful.
Need an event for a week at the mountain.
Absolutely. I'm there.
Everybody.
I can be your tour guide. I can take you back there and show you where all the battles were fought and show you where all the old ranches. Rivas Ranch was a ranch out there, and also there's a place on the other side called Windy Hill, and there's a story about them. Do you know about that, Joey? Did we ever camp out there?
No, I've never camped there. I mean, it's a 15-minute drive for me to.
I know, and that's what's so sad. It's 15 minutes away from all these millions of people, and they've never been out there.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I am Firehorse in the chat there. I'll take your spot in Scotland. You can have a spot in Scotland. It's damp and miserable here 99% of the time.
Oh, sign me up.
It's all right here, and everybody goes on about Scotland being this and goes Scotland being that, like the grass is always greener now.
Well, I've got to get
we've
there.
got some beautiful mountains. We've got some beautiful mountains,
yeah.
But it rains all the time. And it just plays havoc with my sinus problems, and it plays havoc with my ear infections and that. So you see when we get long spells of really hot weather. Yeah. Dry weather, oh my god, it's brilliant. I don't have any joint pain, I don't have any arthritis pain, it's great. But then when the rain comes back, that's what happens.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Apache Junction, that sits right outside of Superstitions, I think is the retirement snowbird capital of the world.
Yeah, when I first moved to Arizona in '84, that's where I moved to Apache Junction, and during the summer, it's population of about 14,000. This was back then. It's a lot bigger now, but 14,000 during the summer. But then during the height of the winter visitors or snowbirds, it grows to about 80,000 people. Yeah. Traffic becomes a problem, but it's actually, they've put in a lot more infrastructure since.
I've counted a license plate from every single state in the United States. And Apache Junction, Iowa, Montana, all of them. Yeah,
that's when those Jeep tours really get booked heavy.
Oh, huge,
fun stuff.
But I think we need a road trip.
Yeah, come on, Chris.
I'll come.
Hop on a plane.
I'll come. It's no expensive. I've already looked. It's only $400.
Bring a change of underwear. You'd be good.
Yeah, several changes.
Economy plus or something like that. Jammed in a barbage can for like 17 hours.
And a mummy bag. Yeah, right.
It can't be that bad in an airplane for 18 hours, 19 hours in the economy section. I've heard people who have done it.
That's not a problem.
That's about the length of the drive.
Before you go to sleep.
Yeah,
from Texas to Arizona.
That's what it takes me 18 hours straight driving there nonstop. I can do that. I've done it.
Well, we
did. I've done it.
Yeah, it was fun.
It's a lot of fun. So 18-hour flight, that'd be a lot easier than an 18-hour drive.
I'll just sleep.
Hey, you get to kick back and not worry about it.
The drive is torture.
Wow, I'm glad you made it on, Chris. So,
thank you so much for coming on.
It's an hour earlier than you would think.
I know.
For the next one until the time changes again. But, yeah. So I want to thank everybody that's been in the chat today too. And
thank you guys.
Even if you haven't been chatting, thanks for joining us, and be sure to like, share, subscribe, and help us grow.
Yeah, we did some records we said some goals today on this week on YouTube and our Facebook, and thank you guys.
Yeah,
like and share.
Much appreciated. Love y'all.
Catch you later.
And
thank you guys for joining us. We'll see you next time.
Until
then, that's Chris. That's Papa Joey.
And that's Uncle Tim.
Have a good week, guys. Thanks for watching.
Hey, if you really enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, because that really helps the channel. And then share it.
Oh, and if you haven't done so, please subscribe.
Hey, hit that alert bell so you'll know when we post a new episode.
Or if we go live, you don't want to miss that.
Hey, let us know in the comments section what topics you'd like us to cover in the future.
And always, if you have a story you'd like to share, please let us know.
Until next time, that's Papa Joy, and that's Uncle Tim.
Beyond the realm of the known lies the mysteries of out there, out there, out there, out there.